Is it time for a show yet? Why not? I'm going to say it is. Welcome to Fortean Words, hosted by me, Hobbit, and guest Sir Hemmingford Grey. And in tonight's episode of Fortean Words, we would like to talk to you about a boat which is a gyrocopter. Man, that is hella cool.
Hobbit, the program's going.
I know, that's why I'm telling people about this video I'm seeing, which is
Right,
like this. Oh, why don't they do that? That is a brilliant idea. I've just seen something great. So, a tram, and it's got rails on the top of it. So, when another tram comes, the tram just goes on top of the other tram. And you got passengers
like
either side.
mating.
It's brilliant. I tell you what, it's a supplemental. I always encourage people to go to the Fortean Words Telegram channel, but you go there, right?
I'm thinking of actually setting up a 14 Words Discord, like a proper one, where we can have some discussions and stuff.
What's wrong with terroristism?
I don't know, it's a bit rubbish, isn't it? I think a lot of people.
What,
I think you still get a lot of people on Discord, don't you?
Yeah, but they're trannies, so I'm not interested in them.
I don't know. You get a lot of trannies on Telegram as well, don't you?
Oh, of course, it's got William Tell Overture on the video because we need music in this piece of silent film. But the main thing is, that
reminds me of an old Mad magazine. It's you know you're an adult when, and one of them was obviously this generation wouldn't get it, but you can hear the William Tell Overture without thinking of the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. So, but for the radio audience, in fact, what I might do is take a picture of it, and then I'll share the. Oh, actually, I'm going to use the new. Yeah, there's So somebody was saying use the screenshot button. They're saying window button Shift S. No, I mean the print screen button. And then it's like a picture of the print screen button. And then someone said, "No, the real print screen," and it's just a boomer taking a picture of their screen using their phone.
Yeah, that is the best way to print. That is the best and only way to print screen, I bet.
If there are any boomers listening to Stephen J. James, fuck you very much. Do you not know how to record? Oh, gee, I've got a computer and I've got video on it. If only there was a way to record video on the computer. If only there was some sort of open broadcast software which would allow one to record what was on the screen. If only that exists. No, fuck it. I'll just put the phone up to my screen at a funny angle so you can see all the snot on it. Bastards. But anyway, ancient technology. What's it about? And was it all horse and cart? Or was there more to it than that? Some evidence suggests that there was more to it than that. And some people would say, Hobbit, why are you reading from a script? Because your cadence sounds like that. Yeah. Well, I assure you, dear listener, I'm not reading from a script. I just made it up as I went along. And that's the best source. It came to me off with something which is well known, but for those of you that don't know about it, it is called the Baghdad battery because journalists are scumbags.
I saw one of those online the other day. They're awesome. So say you want a level on two walls, Hobbit. So what you do is you fill this thing with water. You put one side, and you can put another one wherever you want, and then you can still get the same level, even though without having to use a laser line or a series of pencil lines.
It's a type of spirit level. I don't get it.
Well, it's it's got like a tube. Imagine you got like two spirit levels.
No, don't imagine because I can't. You got to show me. Show me like a picture.
Is it called a water line?
Water line spirit level.
Someone said it's a water line, and I think no, that's not a water line.
How to make a water spirit level? Handyman's World. There's a water level, which is something else. Spirit level, history and use. Water level device. A water level device showing both ends at the same height. Yeah. Uno, you're going to have to do more than that because I want to see what this thing is. Otherwise, I'm just going to imagine a spirit level. But I would like to start off with electricity.
think it's right. Copy image. Should we just talk about this? Shall I not put the picture up so nobody knows what I'm talking about? There you go. Look in the general. That. So say you want a level at two different places.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a water level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for the radio audience, which aren't looking at any pictures, imagine you've got a tube filled with water, and at each end you've got some graduated like cylinders. And what you do is you put the cylinder at one end where you've got your level, and then you want it to be at the same level somewhere else.
This is a better looking one. This will give you, because this one actually has like readings on it and things.
So you go with your tube to the other place, like, a different wall, and because there's a length of flexible tube, it doesn't matter what angle you put it at, the water will be at the same level on both ends. So that way you've got the same level.
So I suppose in theory you could do it the other side of a wall or something like that. You could go around the doorway and into the other, round to the wall.
Basically, you got two separate surfaces which you want it to be at the same level, or using this bit of flexible tube, you can do it. But that's not really ancient technology, is it? I mean, that's sort of Victorian era stuff. What about?
Is that Victorian era?
I don't know. Well,
I'll just put it on the screen so everybody can see. I thought that was a really cool gadget.
But way back when, there was a sign known as the Strange Tale of the Baghdad Battery, found in Nineveh, which was in the 1st century Anno Domini, year of our Lord, or for modern audiences who don't like using Latin, that's known as CE.
Christian era.
Christ's era.
Yeah.
So I just like how there's tags in this: Baghdad Battery, electricity, Itchy-O electroanalgesia, fish electricity painkiller, Mythbusters, Parthia, pseudo-archaeology, Sassanids, Seleucia.
You got a picture of this thing or an article or something of it?
Yeah, it's in the same place you posted the water level. You have to scroll up.
Yeah.
It's past the hieroglyphs. It's past pyramid power. It's past the mobile phone.
Past the water clock. Yeah. Are you teasing for later, are you, Hobbit?
It's electricity in ancient world, and it's got a lady with a gob open because she wants to nosh that bloke off.
I see it.
Yeah. So, electricity in the ancient world. The idea that generating electricity is a relatively recent invention is taken for granted, almost as much as our modern society's total dependence on it. While lightning, magnetism, and static electricity were known to the ancient world, they were not utilised in any way. Citation fucking needed? Again, citation needed. They were curiosities, interesting anomalies to ponder over, sometimes destructive, but not useful. Yet we have evidence that in the 1st century AD, Christ's era, that one ancient culture not only recognised electricity but harnessed it and learned how to generate it. Yet this was not done by the Romans, Greeks or Chinese. Oh, the Chinese are useless. Generally considered to be the most technologically advanced, again, citation needed. Instead, this was accomplished in the Parthian Empire, not especially noted for its engineering or technical prowess. Now, for those who are thinking, oh yeah, Parthians, they're just like proto-Arabs. Nope, the Parthians were Macedonians and Greeks, because Parthia was one of the successor kingdoms to Alexander the Great. They all spoke Greek, they were Greek, and they did Greek things, including electricity and, we might get into this later, mechanical robotic owls and other automatons. Yeah. Are you going to, actually, me?
No, I'm going to wait until we do that. I'm going to tease it, Hobbit.
All right.
We're going to do some proper production values, Hobbit. We're going to tease later subjects and everything.
Oh, fuck me. Instead, this was accomplished in the Parthian... Yeah, we've done that bit. In 1936, archaeologists working for the Iraqi Antiquities Authority, the IAA, were excavating the Parthian site of Kujut near Baghdad, where they uncovered a strange pot. The jar was 5.5 inches tall. Inside the mouth of the jar, a tube of copper was held in place with an asphalt seal. I think they mean bitumen.
Yeah.
And inside the tube of copper, there was an iron rod also held in place by bitumen.
This was some sort of fucking super battery, but it's not. It's like 2D cells stacked on top of each other, and it's not very big at all, is it?
It's a lead acid battery. Wilhelm Koenig,
so
an Austrian,
who got out of it. What sort of voltage do you reckon they got out of it?
Well, I mean, lead acid technology. It could be a 6-volt cell. It could be 12 volts. I think 12 volts are 6 volts in series, so it probably was 6 volts.
Yeah.
In fact, let me just double check. What is the voltage of lead acid chemistry? Because the reason we got 1.56, 3.7 is based
18.
on... So a lead acid battery is 2.1 volts. That's why car batteries are 12 volts. They are 6 of those cells put together.
Right.
So lead acid battery nominal cell voltage is 2.1 volts. Anyway, back to the article. He says
how many double-decker buses is that?
No, it's how many iPhones that is. It's about one. It's about 1.5 iPhones in power. Wilhelm Koenig.
How many Olympic swimming pools would that be?
Wait, it's a measure of electricity, not volume.
Look, I'm a citizen journalist. We have to know what it is in Olympic swimming pools or double-decker buses.
It's a blue Monday of double-decker buses inside an Olympic-sized swimming pool. With an elephant standing on it. No, with 2 elephants standing on it.
2 elephants?
So that's a measurement of... Yeah, measurement of height is 2 elephants.
Is that an African swallow or a European swallow?
Oh, I don't know. Well, Wilhelm Koenig, an Austrian who served as the director of the Baghdad Museum at the time, recognised that the jar and its odd metal attachments were in a configuration that the whole thing could have functioned as a wet cell battery. All the battery needed was the addition of an acid. Numerous acids would have been available. Oh, hang on, this isn't a lead acid battery. This is a iron and copper battery. Let me just have a look. What is the voltage of a iron copper wet cell?
It'll be a lot, will it?
BBC standard grade bite-sized chemistry. Yes, that's what I want. Electrochemical cells, that's more like it. So let me just have a look. Come on, tell me. No, I don't want copper sulfate solution. Fuck off. Zinc electrode. They don't measure it. Say, okay, so we got...
It's not exactly a common concoction of battery, though, is it?
No, they don't actually... So they actually... I mean, in this, they've got a table, and they show, like, copper, zinc, silver, gold, magnesium, but nothing for iron.
You got you got copper, can't you sort of, like, wing it and guess a rough...
It's probably going to be about 1 volt, and the reason I say that is because they actually shown, like, some iron cells in this. Yeah. Because it's an iron solution. Anyway, suffice to say... It's not going to be a great big voltage, but it is going to give you a voltage. Enough that when someone touches it, they go, oh, that tastes a bit sour, doesn't it?
You better numerous acids with it.
Yeah. All the battery needs, numerous acids have been available at the time, including citrus juice and vinegar. The artifact was quickly dubbed the Baghdad battery because nobody can pronounce including the people that live there.
The branding's just not going to work on that, is it?
Yeah, so that's why you got to call it a Baghdad battery, because people can pronounce that.
Because the branding's better.
Experiments have been conducted with replicas of the jar using various acids. Salt water corroded the iron so that the voltage dropped to minimal levels in 60 seconds. Copper sulfate produced...
I've got Stephen J. James in. Do you want to repeat the rant so he hasn't got to rewind it?
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, Stephen J. James, there is this thing called open broadcast software, and you can use it to record things what are on your screen instead of using the boomer print screen, which is LOL. I'll just put my phone up against the screen so people can see the snot stains on it. It's like, fuck's sake, I hate boomers when they're like, oh, I saw something on the TV when Q said 2 more weeks. And it's like, can you please stop filming stuff off the fucking TV?
Do you remember that meme, the one where the boomer like transferred all of his photos to his new phone? And I'm pretty sure you can guess how he did it.
Yeah, that's control. Just so hopefully nobody heard my rant about Uranus and the boomers. Hang on, have you got the title screen back on? Yeah, you have. So that's good.
It starts up when you turn it back on. OBS has crashed again. I'm gonna see if it needs an update or something. But fucking thing. Like, why can't you give it half without needing an update?
Didn't you give it like a dozen updates today, or is it just? Yeah, that's the other thing as well. Like, so fuck boomers, including the ones at NASA Mission Control, where they're just like taking pictures of the TV screen because they can't figure out how to do it. Like, seriously, that's how pants on head retarded it was. That's like thing when they're broadcasting from the moon. It's a slow scan TV. It's 10 frames a second. And then in order to make it available for broadcast TV, do you know how they did it? What they did, right, is they got it on their slow scan TV, and then they put a fucking video camera in front of it to record the slow scan TV. You fucking boomer idiots.
Oh, Stephen J. James is firing back. He said, lol, Hobbit's OBS supremacy debunked in real time.
Actually, it's not me doing the OBS. It's OBS slave Hemmingford Grey.
Golden Gunt 2021 winning Hemmingford Grey.
Yeah, there you go. So the Golden Gun Award to OBS slave is to Sir Hemmingford Grey and his ability to use OBS. So, back to the Baghdad.
You've learned a very important Bible lesson, Hobbit. Pride comes before what?
Pride comes before fucking boomers and recording stuff with fucking cameras. It's a TV screen. I'm going to take a picture of it. And just to be equal opportunities hatred, whilst we're on the subject, fuck people who design modern software and going like, I'm going to do 12 updates in one day, and I'm going to restart even though you're using it and not save what you're doing. Yeah, that's like, fuck you, Discord, Windows 10, OBS, Steam, and pretty much every other piece of software I use these days. Fuck all of you for going like, you're playing a game?
I never used to do the updates on the old OBS.
Yeah, it's just like, so what's that? You're trying to do something with the software? Well, fuck you very much. The only reason you have this software on your computer is so that we can install updates whenever the fuck we feel like it. Not so that you can actually use your fucking tool for what its intended purposes. It's my personal computer. It's not a prostitute's computer that you come in and install whatever fucking shit you want. It's mine. It's not yours. Fuck you very much, Steve Jobs. I hope you're rotting in hell right now.
There we go.
My phone has never undermined me like this while filming my iPad. Maybe the boomer retards were right all along. This is the way to do things, you know.
Boomer supremacy.
Like, I saw the the give me the print screen button. No, the real print screen button. Perfection. So I found out recently if you do window button Shift S, that does a screenshot. I'm going to just do window button
print screen, Hobbit. You can do it in 2. You don't need 3. You don't need the third button.
So, window button. Yeah, but that just made my screen grow grey for a while, and then
it's automatically saved it to my picture.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. It's that. Oh, right. Yeah. So that takes a screenshot of like everything you see. But if you do window button Shift and S, you can drag and select a specific amount. And then it says that the snip is shed. Yeah. But the main start.
I just use snip. Stephen J. Jones wants to know if Windows is on the App Store.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Now, So shift. So yeah, that's the first one.
Are we doing tech support? Like, because I can't really take much more tech support because I've been listening to nothing but scammer payback videos.
Are talking
I keep expecting you to Hemmingford Grey. Can I? Do you want to install any disk?
You're not an antivirus is out of date, but we will charge you $350 for 5-year warranty. That is the best price that we can do. So anyway, the main format.
The best one's when they ring them back and then tell them it's full of viruses, and they go, "Hold on a minute, didn't I just pay you for this not to happen?"
You know what? I've already told the joke at the beginning of this episode. Fuck you, Mr. Johnny Come Lately. Not you, Stephen J. James, but also you, Stephen J. James.
Yeah.
If you want to hear my, scathing humour, just go back to the beginning of the episode. So anyway, the Baghdad battery. What was all that about?
Because that was before OBS crashed.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yes. Which be recording these things.
Hobbit, what's this?
What?
The noise.
It's me not. It's not me not reading the article, is what it is.
It's a Zippo lighter.
Oh, okay. Saltwater corroded. Yeah, we said that. Copper sulfate, 0.45 volts for several hours until copper plated the iron insert. However, a mixture of vinegar and grapefruit juice provided half a volt for several days.
Can you make a battery out of a potato?
Yes. More batteries, as long as you've got some sort of electrolytic medium and two dissimilar metals for your anode and cathode, you will get an electric current. You might not get very much, but you'll get some.
Yeah.
More batteries have been found from the Sassanid period. These batteries were stuffed with papyrus and found in conjunction with magical amulets.
What does Snopes say about the Baghdad battery?
I don't know. But what use would Parthians and Sassanids have for a low voltage electrical current? No electrical devices, motors, lights, or anything similar have been found anywhere in the ancient world. How would you know? They'd all be rusted lamps by now. I mean, I've seen like alternators which not even like 10 years old, and it's a rusted lump. You barely recognise it except for the fact that, well, that's where an alternator usually sits. So I'm assuming that piece of slag is what the alternator was.
Science Focus say it probably did about a volt, Hobbit.
Yeah. Some people claim that evidence of high technology has been hidden or misidentified. For example, they argue that this rock relief from the Dendara temple, so an image will be on your screens shortly.
Some experts refer to it as a battery. Its true origin and purpose remains unclear. One idea that is used for electroplating objects with precious metals.
Fucking bullshit. Anyway,
Can you do electroplating with 1 volt?
No, you can't. That's fucking bullshit. 1 volt's not enough. But you probably use.
Do you want to hear about someone debunking the so-called Baghdad battery? I'm debunking.
Oh my god! This article goes on like for like millions and billions of years. What's it? Hang on. Just a minute. I've scrolled ahead to
read some of the. In reality, if the so-called Baghdad battery really were a battery, it certainly wouldn't be evidence for the existence of an unbelievably technologically advanced prehistoric civilization. Furthermore, archaeologists actually have a pretty good idea what the so-called Baghdad battery was used for, and it almost certainly wasn't used as a battery.
Look, I need to state for the record now. Archaeologists are dribbling retards who fancy themselves as an academic, but because they're too thick and lazy to do actual real science, they end up doing archaeology, where they pick up some lump
you can do archaeology if you just sell all your Star Wars figures and just appear in America, can't you?
Yeah. But that's the thing, like the archaeologists, they pick up something and they make up like some absolute cock and bullshit story about it, which is not true in the fucking slightest whatsoever. And then when they actually see something like where another scientist will go, yeah, you got a battery, mate, that's used for powering electrical devices, like every single electrical device there is.
Koenig argued that maybe batteries like this one had been used in ancient Mesopotamia for electroplating. He tried to support this hypothesis by noting several ancient Mesopotamian artifacts had seen that that were made of silver coated in a very thin layer of gold.
Do you want to know how, like, pants on head retarded this fucking electroplating red herring is?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is, right? Imagine we've got archaeologists, and the only technological artifact they've managed to dig out of the earth from the ruins of our civilization.
Oh shit! No, actually, Koenig got fucking shut the fuck up by modern archaeologists. Even said modern archaeologists, however, are now generally agree that the objects seen by Koenig were not in fact electroplated at all, but were rather fire gilded using mercury. Do you know of this process, Hobbit?
So anyway, no, I don't. Now, let's say archaeologists, they dig up microwave ovens from our time, and rather than going, yeah, it's a microwave oven, use electricity and it heats food that you put inside it, they go, oh, well, the transformers they used inside it, they used it to make woodcut etching effects. Because, yeah, people do this, by the way. They take the transformers out of microwaves, which is really fucking dangerous, and if you like to die instantly, I suggest you do it. By the way, I'm not telling anybody to do self-harm. YouTube, Susan, if you're listening, I'm saying this as a sarcastic point. Don't touch microwaves. In fact, don't touch them. If you've got a microwave in your house, unplug it and throw it away. You'll be doing yourself a favour. But anyway, some people, idiots, those that don't want to live anymore, what they do is they take the transformers outside of microwaves because go, oh, that's a really good step-up transformer. I'll use it to make some...
What does a microwave transformer step up to, Hobbit, so people can get an idea?
Thousands of volts, like 20,000 or something. It's almost as much as the old cathode ray tube televisions. And what they do is they put electrodes on that and they put it on a piece of wood and then go, oh, it's making pretty lightning etch patterns. So an archaeologist in the future whose pants on head retarded would be going, oh, well, what they were doing is using it to make fire etch patterns on pieces of wood for decoration. So this idea that, the only thing ancient man would have used a battery for is to electroplate something so that it would sell a bit better at the market because now it's shiny as opposed to being tapped.
They were trying to say something even more retarded. They were electroplating silver with gold.
Oh, Stephen J. James is taking the psyllium husk pill. He's just knocked back some psyllium husk. Yeah, that's good stuff, that is. But yeah, it's fucking retarded. Like, we can imagine... In our world, what do we use batteries for? Well, the biggest use I can think for a battery is a remote control or the radio, torch. Yeah, it's not for doing electroplating, you dickhead. Fuck off. I'm just going to do some electroplating. That's the other thing as well, right? This idea that, they'd have to use the batteries to make the motors go because they had these...
Well, they're just saying that people in ancient times just liked shiny things.
People in ancient... Look, this is the problem with the archaeology, right? Archaeologists think that the ancient people are even dumber than they are. So they assume all these stupid ideas to them, like, oh, that's an interesting piece of electronics you got there. I'm going to assume you're just going to use that for decoration. Because I'm a dribbling fucking retard. That's why I've only got a master's in archaeology. Because I'm a fucking dickhead who thinks he's a scientist. Fuck's sake. Fuck archaeology. Can I just state for the record, I really fucking hate archaeologists.
Archaeologists are crank science, are they?
Archaeologists can, like, tongue my anus. By the way, that was in an Apple News update.
KSI Sniper says this is like therapy for hobbits.
Just, like, so many of these episodes, like, I just... the contempt... I've reached a critical mass of being exposed to archaeologists' lies. I can't stand it anymore. They're worse than journalists.
You had enough in the dinosaur episode. Do you remember the dinosaur episode?
Oh God!
That black fucking Cox, Joseph Cox Mark II.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. It was, it was just like, oh dude, trust me, dragons aren't real, but dinosaurs, they totally are. No, you can't see the bones. No, they totally do exist, these bones, but these are all plastercasts of the bones, which are totally real. And by the way, dragons aren't real. No, not at all. Not in the slightest.
Do you hate Time Team as well, Hobbit? Alphabet Cat wants inquiring minds want to know.
Tony Robinson, I'm so fucking smug I am. Look at me with my successful TV show.
Andy's a Remainer.
With fucking Tony... Well, of course he is, because he's mentally retarded. I mean, only the stupidest, like, dickhead would be like, "Oh, I'm so smart. I've picked up a piece of pottery, and I'm just going to imagine that the pottery was used for holding flowers in a vase, that the women would look at and smile and go, oh, isn't it nice? I've got flowers in a vase. Fuck off, you..." Right. Anyway, the Baghdad battery.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, and if you go on to general, did I put the picture in the thing? Oh, I'm getting a text message to say, calm down, Hobbit. Right, so if you look below the water levels, there's a hieroglyph there. It's from the Dendera Temple. By the way, this is carved from really solid granite rock. And that would have been done by some dickhead Egyptians using copper chisels on granite rock, because that just works, right? So have a look at this image, which is definitely not a light bulb, not in the slightest. So have a look at this thing that's definitely not a light bulb.
Hold on, I'm getting there, Rob. There's a lot to do.
It's been carved out of solid basalt rock with some dickheads with copper chisels.
You say this is the Demdare light bulb?
The Mandem light bulb.
Yeah.
Now, let's read the story that these fucking dickheads talk about, right?
Isn't that just like that dude's got a really big knob?
But no,
because look, it's an eggplant. It's an eggplant. Look, it's got the thing on it and everything. It's like, LOL, look at my big dick. Isn't it?
Yeah, but what's that thing holding it? That's a light bulb holder.
No, it's not. It's the root on the end of the what's it called? Eggplant.
No, I'm looking at the end on the left hand side.
Oh yeah, that's his snake. That's his sperms. They're ready to come out.
So anyway, this light bulb, which was carved on a piece of rock with chisels,
it's the dude's knob.
Copper fucking chisels did this, right?
Yeah.
Now,
what's the one property of copper that we know? One, that it's really, really hard.
Yeah, and it can easily carve through basalt and diamond, all that other shit. Now, let's go back to dickhead archaeologists who think they're clever. Some people claim that evidence of ancient high technology has been hidden or misidentified. For example, they argue this rock relief from the Dendera Temple complex in late Ptolemaic Egypt shows evidence for ancient light bulbs that could have been powered by the Baghdad batteries.
What is even more interesting, that thing on the left that's holding it up. Never mind the end.
Well, yeah, Uno, it says, yeah, it's an insulator, exactly. That's what I'm thinking of. There are, funny enough, you see them on telegraph lines, these insulators, the ceramic ones. I saw a hi-fi company doing like cables and such, and they were doing... Well, they're Egyptians, they're weird like that. Now...
Because that thing in the middle definitely looks like an element, doesn't it? The thing that looks like a snaky sperm.
Yeah, it's an LED filament bulb. But anyway, it shows evidence later. Can I just? I will carry on with reading this bullshit. But first of all, I just need to say, archaeologists, when you're at home and you turn the switch on, is the bulb that's lit up in your thing? Is it lit up by Baghdad batteries, or is it lit up by something else like mains electricity? Like
do they link the Baghdad battery to this picture?
They're saying that these ancient light bulbs, these giant light bulbs, by the way, would have been lit up by Baghdad batteries, which get up to about 1 volt.
Can you answer, why didn't Egyptians ever face forward?
Because, have you ever seen that meme where the yes man is looking forward and it's really creepy and horrible? That's why. The Egyptians understood you put people in profile only, otherwise it looks weird. And the other important thing is you put people in profile so you can say, here is Ramesses III and his hated enemies that he has on his sandals. And that way in profile you could go, wow, one of his hated enemies has got a really big nose. And the other one's got a really big nose, but it's flat. So the identifying characteristics are easy in profile. So anyway, archaeologists are dickheads and they don't understand about mains electricity.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many people Abigail Shapiro's fooled by, because she always faces forward.
That's it. So that that light bulb, there's a wire trailing from it. There's no Baghdad battery in sight.
Yeah.
It's clearly plugged into the mains. It's plugged in. And this is the other thing. They're saying, like, oh, they'd have used it to do motors for horseless chariots. Yeah, or here's an alternative, right? Anybody that's played with a motor knows that if you start twiddling it, you'll produce electricity the other side. You can make a light go that way. In fact, that's one of the things. I'm not sure if any of you guys are old enough to remember this, but there was such a thing called a bicycle. Not the thing that terrorists use to hold up your roads and when they're wearing spandex, but kids would go on bicycles and they'd have a dynamo on it. And the dynamo, it's a generator. It goes on your wheel, and as you pedal your wheels, it turns the dynamo and it makes your lights go. So anyway, they carry on rubbishing this idea that based on this drawing, engineers
we used to save the Earth, but we've stopped now, Hobbit. So that is basically what you're saying.
Sorry?
Saving electricity, not making batteries, not using batteries. So we didn't used to do that, and then somebody stopped us doing it.
Okay. So based on the drawing, engineers have constructed actual working light bulbs that resemble this relief. However, the whole thing unravels when you look closer at the light bulb filaments. No, it doesn't. Oh, that's nice.
Sake.
There's a hyperlink.
The filament is the bit they're going to get hung up on, is it?
So the link has a. Can I just say, fuck you very much, Susan? There's a link on this article, and you click on the link, and it says the video is no longer available because the YouTube account associated with this video has been terminated. Every single fucking video,
Terminated,
so much stuff is nice on YouTube. It's gone. It's gone now.
Remember when they used to give you the bullshit that everything you put on the internet will be there forever?
No. Well, only if it's evidence that can be used against you.
The filament does look like a snake, but it's like an artist's representation. Could it be neon and it's representing like a gas or something?
Well, that's an idea. Yeah, and the glass blowers could have been quite intricate. They could have made the glass into the shape of a snake. And they're saying it's not a wire on an electrical arc at all, it's a snake. And the light socket is in fact a lotus flower. Yeah, that's right, because nowhere ever has anybody gone, especially women,
why is the snake in a speech bubble then?
Nobody ever in the history of lights has made a purely anything that's not just purely functional. Nobody's gone, could this lampshade be made to resemble, I don't know, a flower or a pearl drop or a teardrop, or maybe it could be a chandelier with some crystals with the light bulb
says it's held up by a honey dipper. It does look like a honey dipper, that thing, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. What is the point with a honey dipper? What's wrong with a spoon or a knife?
I think it dribbles better.
But no, it gets caught in like the crevices.
Maybe that makes it drip better. There's got to be some functional reason for it, isn't there?
I don't understand honey drippers, and I myself, I just use the knife because that honey is not so runny that I can't just kick it up with a knife.
Honey is not so runny. I thought you were going to do some sort of poem then, Hobbit.
Yes, honey is not so runny that I still don't want to kick archaeologists in the balls.
Honey is so runny and I like it in my tummy. How about that, Hobbit?
There are other claims. Honey is so runny that I want to exterminate archaeologists, not in Minecraft, but real life under the Sphinx. There are other claims of ancient.
Up their house.
Yeah. Hassan Piker, I'm coming to kill you. In the ring? No! In real life.
Yeah, at your house. Did he say at your house, or I imagine that bit?
In this house.
I think he said, yeah, that's it. No, it's in his in his house. That's what he said, didn't he?
Hobbit, you can't have this conversation without discussing Michael Cremo.
And I do have checked your past record.
Why does that name ring a bell? I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the phrase Michael Cremo. I'm going to right click on it and then search Brave for Michael Cremo. Brave is not a sponsor of this show. Michael Cremo, forbidding archaeology. Yeah, okay. That is definitely worth a look-see. So I'll have a look at that. And let's just... Stephen J. James has sent me a video.
I don't think so, Hobbit. Michael A. Cremo, also known by his devotional name, Drutkarma Dasa, is an American freelance researcher who identifies himself as a Vedic creationist. He's another Brutus Hobbit.
Oh, dear. So, Stephen J. James has done a
vegan and he talks a bit like this.
The text message from earlier, when I was going to put it in for Forbidden Words, Stephen J. James has sent me a video. It's a recording of the interesting thing about archaeologist Tungmayanus Fraxus here, the Apple phone hack. Except they don't say archaeologist, they say the other word I'm fond of using. That Susan doesn't allow me to use it anymore.
Yeah.
Except he's recorded this like a boomer does. Oh, and he's got his finger in the top right corner as well, just obscuring part of the screen. That's a great recording.
It's nice good when there's a thumb on it.
And the camera's slightly wobbling as well, so things go out of focus. There are other claims of ancient electrical technology, most of which are the product of people who have the deadly combination of too much time on their hands and access to the internet. What, like fucking archaeologists? Oh, I'm just going to make a career out of digging in the fucking dirt and then coming up with wild, fanciful explanations for a little piece of pottery I found.
Yeah.
Fuck archaeologists. Can I just say, on this show, we officially... Fuck them right in the pussy. Yeah. We disrespect archaeologists on this show. Fuck the lot of you. Especially you, Tony Robbins, with the I'm going to look at the geophil.
Tony Robbins is the motivational guy with the big
chin. Well, fuck him too. He's the one that like motivates Tony Robinson to like go, come on, look at the geophys, get excited for another tiny piece of dirty mosaic.
I remember you done the geophys. Oh,
God, I'm geophysic.
I'm geophysic.
So So anyway,
the Cornish geezer either then.
Oh, actually, I think he's all right.
Yeah,
I think he's like most Cornish. He's just he's not all there.
It's not his fault.
No, yeah, he's Cornish.
He's a product of his environment.
So the archaeologists are going on here about saying how great they are, unlike these people that have access to the internet and too much time on their hands. Claims exist that the pyramids were giant power plants, which provide electricity to run electrical stone cutting tools. Yes, because we don't need giant electrical stone cutting tools. All we need is fucking copper chisels. I mean, look at this bas relief here.
If you got enough Jewish people and a whip, mate, you're going to make those pyramids.
It's amazing what truly the great things of the world, like the pyramids, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the German Autobahn system, all built on beating up Jews. Now, others say that the Great Pyramid was in fact a giant chemical laser which destroyed a planet of our solar system, Death Star style, to create the asteroid belt. I've not heard that one, but you know what?
The Death Star Pyramid. I've heard of the Death Star's pyramid.
Oh, it links to an Amazon thing, which means it doesn't.
Is that the first Jewish space laser then? If they built the pyramids.
What I like about this is that additional details. Black-owned business. The current featured offer for this product is sold by a black-owned business. Oh, so that's why the paperback book is $50. All right. Yeah. Now, so giant chemical laser which destroyed the planet's solar system. Yeah. That's before we even get to the idea of ancient Egyptians launching satellites to beam power wirelessly to. Haven't you seen Stargate? They didn't use satellites. They used Stargates. Dickheads. Oh, alleged interplanetary war. What's alleged about it? And also don't forget about the aliens. It's rather depressing.
How many people died in the alleged space war?
6 gorillion. Here we go. Right, here's the archaeologist trying to do a fucking sob story. It's rather depressing to currently slave away trying to get into grad school, then to go to grad school and work years to get a PhD. Slowly work my way through low ranks of academia.
Does this geezer not know how to sell his Star Wars figures?
Well, I could just make up something right now and cash in. Yeah, so you're a fucking thicko that doesn't know how to make money from your hobby, unlike these absolute Chad gigabrains that say it's the first Jewish space laser, it's the Giza Death Star.
Yeah,
pyramid.
Can buy my book.
Yeah, there you go. You didn't have to go to grad school to prove you're a dickhead. We all knew that before you got your PhD in being a dribbling fucking retard archaeologist. Who's this person, by the way? This is gatesofnineveh.wordpress.com. And who's this article written by? Because, like every other fucking leftist shit-eating bastard, they've written a million words when, like, 2 would do.
You know about Sardinia and the Giants Hobbit? We need to do another Giant. Have we done a Giant episode?
We've done a Giants. I'm sure we've done more than one Giants episode. But I am going to tie Giants into this, right? Yeah. This ancient technology, what... like we're just coming to now, it was made by giants. The giants did it.
I figured out what that bulb is, Hobbit. It's one of those things for inspecting under cars. Like there should have been a speech bubble coming out that Egyptian going, "Oh, I don't like the look of that." That's what it should.
Or it's going to cost you your Baghdad battery's leaking. Or it's going to. I mean, you've got to get them from Baghdad. You know, horse and cart. That's all we got.
Oh, I don't know. 6 weeks. It's going to be 6 weeks from Baghdad getting that battery.
So, I don't want to carry on reading the rest of this stuff.
Biaki's giving us a good old pat on the back. He says, "You've done more than one inadequate giant shows, lol." Well, Biaki, if you want to come on and do a giant show, you can. Just fucking DM me or something.
Yeah, look, we're the hosts, you're the audience, we outrank you.
We don't take our guests on, do we, Hobbit?
Well, yes, we do.
You'll take our nothing.
Well, yeah, come on the show so we can interrupt you instead of interrupting one another.
Yeah.
Look, we will do inadequate episodes about giants, and you'll be fucking happy about it. More than these archaeologists with us slaving away to get a PhD.
Biaki thinks he's not welcome and we're not allowed to be friends. This is the neutral zone. This is the DMZ. Like, this is completely unpolitical.
No, what Biaki is saying there is he's in fact a dribbling archaeologist.
Yeah,
and
he's an archaeologist respecter, isn't
he? Yeah, we don't respect archaeologists on this show. Oh, dear. Oh, once all the silliness is cleared away, we still have a dozen or so clay jars from Mesopotamia that look and function like batteries. What could they have possibly been used for?
Torches. What else do you use batteries for? Torches and watches.
Well, I'm guessing by the rest of the tone of this article, it's used for powering your fucking vibrating dildo, bitch.
I don't know. There is every possibility that could be a vibrating dildo, Hobbit.
Paul Craddock from the British Museum has suggested the batteries were hooked up to statues in Mesopotamian temples to give electric shock to anyone who touched the gods.
What the fuck?
If it's...
What was there like some ancient Egyptian where some dude's filling out his papyrus like ancient Egyptian version of like Candid Camera or fucking punk?
Do you think like the ancient Egyptians also had problems with the Dindus trying to steal stuff? So like
they're electrified.
Look, I can tell you even now, even if you're using like a 9-volt battery to electrify your statues, the worst that's going to happen if somebody decides to lick the statue, they're going to go, "Oh, that's a bit sour, isn't it? Oh, that's got."
Think, like what voltage are cattle fences? Are they 12 or 24?
I think they might. They run on a 12-volt battery, but they do pulses. You can hear them click.
Yeah. You ever touch one? It's good fun. It feels like the joints are separating, don't it?
What voltage do cattle fences run at? annual voltage requirements. Minimum voltage of 5,000 volts. So yeah, they do pulses of 5,000 volts. Oh, that's another fucking 404 page not found. It's just more and more of the internet's being deleted every single day. But the dead internet
volts. Oh, that's not bad, is it? You can get one to work on a lithium battery now.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's only half a kilometres of fence though. Maximum output voltage 7,500 volts. Maximum impulse energy 0.06 joules. So because they output volts, but they don't output any current, do they? That's why you don't get moided.
Yeah. I don't want to read the rest of this. They're talking about. Well, they do talk about another. I'll briefly talk. Do you know about the hero mechanism? It's like it was called an Egyptian toy. It's a steam engine. It's a sphere. And you got jets either side.
We were steam engine inventors and shit, is it?
Try saying that after a few pints. Copy image. I'll put it into the general. So, it's that thing there. That'll be... There we go. And it's like it's a toy. You put a flame under it. It boils up steam. It goes through the pipes into the chamber. And then it spins round and round. But this is the thing, actually. Fred Dibner, who did the history of steam, also talked about how the Egyptians, including proper diagrams for it and everything, how they had these massive stone slab temple doors, and the
you see what Marco Coletti's put in there. Phil's laptop is ancient technology.
Yeah, so if ancient technology is not real, explain Phil's laptop.
Yeah.
But one of the things the Egyptians, the Greeks would do, right, is they would have these really massive temple doors, stone slabs, and they would have steam. And what would happen is the temple orderlies would get the boiler going before dawn, and then around about the time it was time to kill people to worship in the temple, the steam would generate enough pressure that it would just rise up, and it would be quite impressive thing, because steam would be wafting from the stones as well, as these stones just effortlessly lifted out because Zeus wills it, or whatever the temple's for. So that would be quite impressive, especially if you tell people how it's done. So, in a similar case, the Greeks invented a novelty device called the elila. This was a small brass ball with two nozzles, which was suspended on the stand and filled with water. Lighting a fire into the ball caused the water to boil, then steam to shoot out the nozzle, spinning the ball. Despite the fact this was a miniature steam engine, this concept was not put to practical use until the Industrial Revolution. It's entirely impossible that the Baghdad battery had a similar purpose, that it was just a novelty. I've got a jar and you touch it and it makes your tongue go numb.
You touch it to people's chairs, so when they sit down they get electrocuted. That was it.
Well, not even that. I mean, 1 volt, you've got to literally put your tongue on it or you won't notice it.
Literally shake my hand, but your hand's really wet. I think that's what you'd have to do, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but even then, you'd just be like, I can feel ever such a slight tingle when you stop moving. Well, 1 volt is not much at all. There, of course, no such ancient tie can complete without recourse to the end-all of modern pop scientific debate of Mythbusters. Show tested the Baghdad battery back in 2005. Oh yeah, Mythbusters said, it's totally possible for for jet fuel to melt steel beams.
Yeah, we like Mythbusters respecters here, haven't we?
Oh, I respect Mythbusters as much as I respect archaeologists. Actually, I respect them a bit more because at least their show was somewhat entertaining, as opposed to archaeologists, which the only entertainment I could derive from was just pointing and laughing.
Shills, though, weren't they?
Well, yeah, it is. Uno mentions antikythera mechanism. Shall we get on to that? Because the fact is, what's this name?
From coolinterestingstuff.com, strange out of place and time discoveries. So we can talk about
eatsofnineveh.wordpress.com. I want to know who the name of this shithead is so I can just point and laugh at you so much. Come on, who are you? About the author. Here we go. Oh, my name is Christopher Jones. I hold a PhD in the history from Columbia University. Oh, you're not even an archaeologist, you fucking prick. I'm currently visiting professor of history and political science at Warren Wilson College. My primary research interests include how to tie my own shoelaces and how to stop dribbling when talking. Fucking dickhead. Fucking retard. Fuck you, Christopher Jones. Did your mum dress you in that photograph, or did you pick those clothes yourself, prick?
He's
look,
Fraser. This would be right up Fraser Street. This episode, wouldn't it? And
I hope he does listen. I hope he appreciates my vitriol and enthusiasm for shitting on archaeologists. This guy's not even an archaeologist. He doesn't even pretend to be a scientist. He's just, I've read history because science is hard.
Is archaeology chicks doing history then? Is it? Like astrology is like chicks doing racism. Is this like chicks doing history?
Archaeology is just retards who think they're clever and they're like, see, I can do science too. I've got these bits of pottery and I just imagine like a whole bunch of things. I don't really know what they did with it though, because I'm a dickhead.
Oh, Ian's met Chris Jones. Ian, you're going to pop on and tell us how you met Chris Jones.
Well, if you ever meet him again, tell him from me that I think he's a dickhead and a dribbling retard, and he wishes he was as smart as some of those people that wrote books about geese or Death Star lasers.
Yeah. Right, so anachronistic stuff then. So we found the Piri Reis map. Have you ever heard this one, Hobbit?
Just doing it. Lizard says, "Isn't archaeology amazing?
Amazing.
Even dribbling retards with learning disabilities can be a PhD.
Or just
That's
some geezer
brilliant.
that sells all of his Star Wars figures."
So yeah, well, the Piri Reis map. Is that ancient technology, or is that just a well-debunked?
Well, this
myth?
list. I'm debunking. It starts with maps and drawings. So there's some. So Piri Reis was a Turkish admiral and avid collector of old maps, compiled information. He gathered into a map of his own in 1513. Astonishingly, his map depicts coastal outlines of North and South America and Antarctica, which was not officially discovered until 1818.
Yeah, there's a bunch of maps, not just the Piri Reis one, showing Antarctica as a green land.
There's all that stuff we went over with the the Eye of the Sahara. Do you remember all those weird maps and stuff?
Yeah, but in those maps as well, they show that Antarctica and Tierra del Fuego are connected together. So Antarctica and South America were connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got? Unexplained maps. Scholars aren't sure what to make at scholars. Aren't sure what to make of the maps etched on a rock. Do they crudely depict the continents of Earth as they appeared long ago, including the lands of Mu and Atlantis? Or as some suggested, they do show the lands of some other planet. To be impartial, however, they could also merely depict divisions of much smaller tracts of land. I don't know what that is. It doesn't say where or anything.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling a few articles ahead.
I can't
because
see Mu without thinking about. Do you remember Tammy Wynette and the KLF?
No, I don't know anything about that.
They're justified and they're ancient and they drive an ice cream van. No, you don't remember that one?
No.
Oh, well, the KLF used to talk about Moo Moo, didn't they? They were the justified ancients of Moo Moo, weren't they?
Are you talking about "Justify My Love"?
No,
was that a song by
Justified
Madonna?
Ancients of Moo Moo. I'm talking about the KLF Hobbit.
They were a pop band, right? Anyway,
yes.
Moving on.
Yeah.
There was
justified. They said that they larped and said they were the justified ancients of Moo Moo. That's why I think of Moo, because it's Moo Moo. It's spelt the same as Moo Moo.
As not to be confused with Death by Mau Mau.
Yeah.
No, I thought what Death by Snoosu is more better than Mau Mau.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Mau Mau's from the League of Gentlemen, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. So
is that the fruit up the arse?
Yes.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the Irishman with the 10 pineapples goes, I've seen Mau Mau. No, I think I'll take death. So Chief says, very well.
Mau Mau.
Yeah. Futurama is death by Snoo Snoo. Now, pyramid power. I searched it, and the first thing that came up was a Wikipedia article, which I'm sure is going to be informative and non-biased at all. So as you all know, Wikipedia is the ultimate arbiters of truth, apart from Snopes. And this is the thing.
It's arbiter, Hobbit. It's not arbiter.
Whatever. Pyramid power, it causes a variety of benefits. Colonies assume properties, ability to preserve food, sharpen and maintain the sharpness of razor blades. There's a bit of illiteracy there.
I love all that stuff. I remember Terry Wogan talking about it on his chat show.
Improve health, function, and thought form incubator to trigger sexual urges and cause other effects. Now, when I was searching that, it's a bit long-winded.
Is this the copper masturbation pyramid you're going into now, Hobbit?
Oh, that's the thing, yeah. It's an addendum to the jerk-off crystals episode, but we found a copper masturbation pyramid. So
imagine if you were in your copper masturbation pyramid with your life partner and you had the jerk-off crystal in there as well. What would happen?
Well, you'd be doing interstellar travel.
Planes of reality. Do you think that's what would happen?
You'd be doing interstellar travel. You'd be in your flying pyramid at that point. Now, it's a bit too long-winded for this episode, but I have put a link to the PDF in the Fortean Words channel, which is available at t.me/Fortean Words. Fortean is spelled Fortean.
That's in Fortean. For those people that think you just can't spell 14.
Yes,
you
it's
can't spell 14.
Well, it's not about the number 14. It's about Charles Fort and things pertaining to Charles Fortean. So, the pyramid electric generator, very interesting. It talks about using a pyramid to focus energy at a certain point, using an initial transformer to drive the energy, and then you get a whole bunch of plasma coming out of it, which is 100-fold the energy you put in. Very interesting.
You get a lot of plasma coming out in the masturbation pyramid, though.
Yeah, and you also get a lot of plasma coming out of microwaves, which are purely for decorative uses, according to future archaeologists.
Yeah.
From now on, I'm not going to call them learning disabled or retards. I'm going to call them archaeologists.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are. Helicopter hieroglyphs.
Copper ban either.
Oh, yeah. Helicopter hieroglyphs, until they figured out that archaeologist is a slur for people that are too fit to survive. Have you heard about these helicopter hieroglyphs? There's hieroglyphs of people at computer shit posting with a frog on top of them. There's hieroglyphs that look like an Apache gunship.
Actually.
Well,
masturbation pyramid schemes, says Marco Coletti Spaghetti.
Oh man, now if ever I want to get done for financial fraud, it's for a masturbation pyramid scheme. That sounds like something I could get sent down for. So what are you in for?
Is that where you surreptitiously collect all the energy from people's jerk off crystals? Well, you see what you've got to do with your jerk off crystal. You've got to get 5 people with jerk off crystals to fill up their jerk off crystals. And
then it transfers into yours, so you gain their power.
Yeah. And then what you've got to do is you've got to give me a percentage of your jerk-off crystal.
And if you can, get those under you that are jerking off with you, get them jerking off in their group, so they've got 5 each. So now you've got the strength for 25 people jerking off into the crystals. Yeah. No homo.
I thought it was very much homo, the jerk-off crystal.
No, the guy specifically says, no homo. We're just going to be looking at each other, jerking off into our crystals to charge them up.
Oh, okay.
The Temple of Seti I in Abydos. So, yeah, there was the ancient Egyptian... Why
is Seti the same name as that? What people colloquially call the stupid excuse to investigate?
Search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yeah, the
at
stupid
home?
excuse to investigate. I heard a conspiracy theorist call it. I think it was Jim Mars.
Yeah, sure.
It.
We'll go
God
with
rest
that.
him.
Yeah. So,
Oh, speaking of God rest him, did you know Coolio died today?
Funny enough, I just received a notification in another chat saying, "Everybody, nigger, Coolio is dead."
This is not the show for that.
Well, okay. I won't read out the other sort of messages.
I'll edit that one out. It's all right, Hobbit. We got away with it.
Oh, it's okay. I think I mentioned the war once or twice, but got away with it. So, helicopter hieroglyphs by the Temple of Seti I. So, even the Egyptians were interested in the search for extraterrestrial because they got helicopters, so black helicopters. They got flying saucers, and they got what looks like the flying car from Star Wars. You know the one he's in the
Luke's
at the beginning of it. Yeah, that's it. So you got a flying saucer, you got helicopters, and yeah.
Oh, where is the picture of this hieroglyph?
So if you go into general,
yeah,
and then it's in between the thing what you did about Smithsonian, and it's just after the pyramid electric generator and pyramid power.
Pyramid power, PDF, pyramid electric generator.
hieroglyph.
Helicopter right, I'll put that up.
That's it. Yeah,
I'll put that up so the audience can see it.
There we go.
All interesting stuff. Oh no, that's the wrong one.
The real explanation behind. Oh, here we go. The real explanation behind the helicopter has to do with legacies of different rulers. In ancient Egypt, it was common for hieroglyphs to be recarved over time, especially when the new pharaoh came into power. By the way, these were carved into basalt and granite.
Bro, it's just you imagining it, bro.
They were just recarving using copper chisels on really hard stones, bro.
If I'm gonna buy a chisel that's gonna last me a good long while, I'm gonna buy a copper one.
Yeah, I mean that's why they're doing a scam.
You want a copper one with a balsa wood handle, don't you, Hobbit?
Those are the most durable of all chisels. I especially go for the ones which have got like you want to have one which is low purity copper, so it's brittle.
Yeah.
Because they're more likely to work for a long time and not get blunt. So. Depicting modern technology. So here we go.
No, I don't want your fucking book.
Oh, yeah, this is the other thing now. You go on websites and it goes, oh, it's a nice article you'll be reading. Would be a shame if we were to replace it with a fucking advert. Among hieroglyphs such as the fly and whatnot, the engraving shows what seems to be a helicopter, as well as airplanes and a submarine. No,
that's not just any helicopter. That looks like a fucking Apache, doesn't it?
That's why I sent in the Apache gunship.
Yeah.
In some pseudo-scientific circles, these hieroglyphs have been interpreted as a representation of modern technology and antiquity, knowledge perhaps given to the Egyptians by time travelers or extraterrestrial entities, or maybe they had it all along.
That bit just underneath the spaceship-looking thing. Is that that looks like a representation of Scramble? Do you remember Scramble on the Commodore 64, or like an old thing?
Oh, I think I do actually.
Where you're a little rocket man and you're going along the ground and it changes.
Yeah. Oh, so what, they were playing 80s games as well. Yeah. Cool. So now, but most archaeologists
Swift Hobbit. That's why they got the gunship.
But most archaeologists agree the carvings are nothing unusual. But then again, archaeologists have room temperature IQs.
Is that what they're not saying? They're not saying there's nothing to see here, are they?
They're nothing unusual. The hieroglyphs depicting, and this is in quotes, modern technology, are an example of pareidolia. Yeah. You know what? I think someone needs to do that. Like, what's his name?
Bro.
I won't mention him because he's similarly melanated to Coolio. I'm trying to think. That's it. Prince Andrew allegedly was Nonsen Kids, but as he said, It couldn't have been me because I wasn't sweating at the time because I can't sweat.
Yeah.
No, what he should have said is, that wasn't me. What the victims are suffering from is pareidolia.
Yeah.
It was another unknown circumstance. They just thought they saw my face because I'm so recognisable.
Yeah.
What being a public figure and all.
Exactly.
So there you go, Prince Andrew. Put a check in the post, and we'll say nothing more about.
Do you want to touch money that he's had his hands on?
It's a check. It's all right. I'll just put it into the bank and hold it on the tongs, and then I'll give you some cash.
Have the rubber gloves on.
Anyway, so most archaeologists agree the carvings are nothing unusual. The hieroglyphs depict modern technology or pareidolia.
Nothing to see. Nothing to see here.
You think you can see what clearly looks like an Apache helicopter, or
it's just a simulacra. That's all it is, Hobbit. Just a simulacra.
It's just a coincidence, bro. It's just a coincidence. I'm so glad I've got archaeologists who, between them, collectively, have the IQ of a PE teacher, telling me what I'm looking at here is just
What's the gag from Red Dwarf? Is it? I've got an IQ of 200. Is it? It's only the same as about 200 PE teachers, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. So I'm saying the archaeologists collectively have the IQ of one PE teacher.
Yeah.
So pareidolia, our tendency to perceive a pattern or meaning that isn't actually there.
Isn't it weird you'd find a pattern in something that's been carved, Hobbit? Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Wait. Are they trying to tell me these hieroglyphs aren't carved by man?
They're not even carved at all. Yeah, they're not even carved at all. It's just like wood chip wallpaper. That's like the Egyptian version of wood chip wallpaper. You're just seeing things, Hobbit.
It's a natural rock formation. That's what it is.
Yeah.
The pyramids are natural.
You're just seeing what you want to see, Hobbit.
Oh, actually, no. The thing is, we laugh about saying the pyramids are natural rock formation. Well, for whatever reason, they say the pyramids in Egypt are not a natural rock formation. Somehow they're artificial. Yet all the other pyramids in the world, from Antarctica to Australia, all of those are
Mars. Hobbit.
Yeah, and Mars as well.
Yeah.
All of those natural rock formation. Nothing to see a move on.
Yeah. But what about you want to see? That's what you're doing, Hobbit.
Yeah, just like thing with straight, regular edges and step pyramids and tunnels and stuff. Just naturally occurring rock formations, bro. Like those hieroglyphs are just naturally occurring rock formations.
You just see what you want to see, Hobbit.
Yeah. Other examples of pareidolia include the perception of a human face in the moon.
The Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa. That's a pareidolia.
A church tower that looks like
the Sistine Chapel roof. That's just pareidolia.
A church tower that looks like a chicken. What?
What?
Oh, okay, right. Okay, so there is an example of a church tower, and from a certain angle, it does look a bit like a chicken with like the googly eyes and everything. So yeah, I'll give them that. They found one example of something which does look like something else, even though it's not.
Michelangelo's David, pareidolia, that was, Hobbit.
That's just a naturally occurring rock formation, bro. The rock was happens to be in a pattern which you associate looks like a human male.
Well, as I always say, if the so-called rational explanation is more ridiculous than what it actually is, then, maybe it's actually what it is.
Bullshit as well. Like, they think nobody's going to actually just read aloud the bullshit, the lies they've written.
It's like that woman's face on the cliff in Marley. I don't know that one.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, that's they call it pareidolia, but it's clearly a carved statue.
Yeah.
Now,
was it the real presidents? The four presidents, just pareidolia, Hobbit.
That naturally occurring rock formation. That's weather erosion. The real explanation behind the helicopter has to do with the legacies of different rulers. In ancient Egypt, it was common for hieroglyphs to look like fucking helicopters, especially when the new pharaoh came to power. Digital imaging has shown these images come from two separate images on top of each other. The original carving, created during the reign of Seti I, translated to "He repulses the nine enemies."
And then the second one's a helicopter. Is that what this is?
Yeah. So, in fact, what the Egyptians are doing is making transformers. Like, it's a car that transforms into a helicopter. But But anyway, the artist altered it during the reign of Ramses II to read, "Here protects
Egypt."
Egypt."
How do you read hieroglyphs, Hobbit, if like what you're seeing isn't actually what you're seeing?
Well, that's where you need to be a really clever archaeologist who understands hieroglyphs. Unlike us, we are just, we do not have the mental capability to encompass such lofty thoughts as these archaeologists are. Now, the discussion about ancient technology also relates to the fact archaeological evidence that Mesopotamia is the first civilization. Yeah, why do they always keep going on about that? I mean, Dacian civilization existed.
Were they taking that big Mesopotamian money? Were they?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, they are.
Go watch out for big Mesopotamia.
Oh, here we go. The plaster used to cover the Seti first inscription eroded over time, which led to the appearance of a single combined image. Conspiracy theorists have digitally altered photographs of the carving to remove details.
Bjarke was just taking the mick that they said that what you're seeing isn't actually what you're seeing.
Well, hang on. So this is saying that conspiracy theorists have doctored the images to make them look like stuff. Well, then why aren't you showing the original images on your website? Because what I'm seeing here, I'm having a close look at it. It's a helicopter, mate.
Yeah,
mate, that's a fucking helicopter. No, bro, it's not a helicopter. Well, then what the fuck is it? Oh, it's just like pareidolia, bro. It's a Fata Morgana. It's swamp gas over Venus. It's anything but something.
Is there a helicopter in Egypt as well, then?
Oh yeah, the Vimanas. There are some interesting technology there as well. But yeah, I've covered all of that. So helicopter, Atlas Obscura, go fuck yourself.
Did you just say helicopter?
It's so wrong with my helicopter.
Helicopter.
But yeah. Atlas Obscura, go fuck yourself as well, you dribbling
there's
archaeologist.
a Wikipedia on helicopter hieroglyphs.
Yeah, I put that in as well because I thought we could do like a double whammy of debunking it. Oh, you've been debunked, you fucking bastard! Oh, I'm debunking, I am.
Oh right, so over time the plaster has eroded away, leaving both inscriptions partially visible and creating a palimpsest, like a fucking palimpsest.
Easy for you to say.
Is a
palimpsestuous.
Is a manuscript page on from a scroll or from a book, which the text has been scraped or washed off, so the page can be reused for another document.
What page? Hang on, this is carved in stone. This is an actual rock formation.
That's what palimpsest means. So it's a palimpsest-like effect of overlapping hieroglyphs.
Oh, right.
It's just overlapping hieroglyphs, dude. You're just a conspiracy theorist.
I'm getting really fucking annoyed when they're showing me something that's been carved into stone, saying it's a naturally occurring rock formation, but then also saying it's just a piece of papyrus that's been rocked over. Or it's a piece of plaster.
Da Vinci invented the helicopter. We all know that. And Hobbit, if Dashi was that old, surely they'd be better at making cars by now.
Yeah, well, you'd think so, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Dyslexic Egyptians, exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
They meant to draw a hawk, but it looks like a helicopter.
Well, hawk, helicopter. Very similar words.
It must be very difficult when you're carving stone like things and you're dyslexic.
It was probably an archaeologist telling them how to do it.
Do you think they had archaeologists back in Egyptian times going like, oh, look, guys, I found some pottery from a previous civilization. I bet they were using it to make butt plugs to shove up their fucking asses because that's what we do, right?
Right, so do you want to talk about
Fucking
some ancient modern tools? While quarrying limestone in 1786, workers came to a bed of sand about 50 feet below ground level. In the layer of sand, however, they found the stumps of stone pillars and the fragments of half-worked rock. Digging further, they found coins, petrified wooden handles of hammers, and pieces of other petrified wooden tools. Petrified, they were livid. The sand in which the discovery was made was beneath a layer of limestone dated at 300 million years old.
Million billion years.
What do you think to that one then, Hobbit?
I think to myself,
what a wonderful world.
Hey, this is pretty good. This one that you did later.
Which one?
By the way, it's called Unexplained Phenomena, Out of Place Artifacts. 17 out of place artifacts.
Strange and out of place time discoveries.
Yeah, so they talk about the Baghdad factory.
Yeah.
Which, we've debunked now. It's not a factory.
Debunking.
The ancient Egyptian light bulb ? Or is it?
Yeah.
The Great Wall of Texas. Now that is an interesting one, and someone's been on Henrik Palmgren's show, or as a lot of Americans call him, Heinrich.
Or Skinny Rock. Or Skinny Rock, as we call him.
Skinny Rock. Oh yeah, because he's like Rock if he was skinny. Yeah. But some people go onto Heinrich's show and say, "Oh, Heinrich, today I'm going to tell you about the Great Wall of Texas."
Oh, Heinrich, why is it since you got that chick on board, his new show was good? I thought that's what people said to him.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that, like myself included. Like, fuck this shit. I can't be dealing with. Did you know the Nazis were really cool? And my wife says so. And I'm Swedish, so I'm spineless. So I just agree with everything she says. And then there was like Radio 314 hosted by Lana going like, that's really interesting, but have you done Kratom? Or is it like DMT? No, actually, it's really boring. And if you do a lot of it, it'll make you puke.
Makes me think of Joe Rogan, dude.
But that's what I'm thinking. Instead of Joe Rogan, her bit, it's like, have you tried... Oh, she doesn't call it Kratom. She says, have you tried Kratom? Kratom. Oh... And then can't speak for like the later episodes, but in the early ones, you can tell that she's got a bad opiate habit because she's got a really wet voice, like she's salivating constantly. She's probably a dribbling archaeologist as well, come to think of it. Maybe that's why Heinrich likes her so much, because she just slobbers all over his fucking knob. Fuck's sake. Radio 314, if you're listening, I'm available to interview anytime.
Yeah.
So is Hemi.
Yeah.
I think I just got us an in on Heinrich's show.
Heinrich, he'll be fucking gagging to have us on, wouldn't he?
Oh, he'll be like, you guys are great. You should be on the show. It's like, well... Yeah, when's
Johnny Monoxide going to come and get... We need a come and get me plea from Johnny Monoxide. Now Biarki's mentioned him.
Oh yeah.
Well, he's had our former co-host on, so I don't see why he wouldn't have us on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'd be like able to take a bit of banter and have a good laugh about stuff.
Yeah, like the rest of them, they're all like incredibly thick-skinned over there, aren't they? Especially Borzoi.
Say what you like about Johnny Monox really take a joke, and I suggest if you haven't gone there, because they have got a Telegram channel, you just start bantering them. They really are up for a laugh. You got banned from there, didn't you? My joke was, I've taken the Pfizer shot and I feel fine, and then they used an animated GIF of Toxic Avenger as he's transforming.
And they didn't like that.
They thought I was taking the piss.
No.
And
no, you can't make a joke with the paranormies. That's serious journalism they do, Hobbit. Saying everybody's a tranny.
Well, the thing which annoys me about that is they banned me before I was able to say, Johnny Monoxide, have you ever considered that you're the tranny? Think about it. You talk about trannies. Are you one?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying think about it.
Anyway,
next time you're in the mirror,
I think we've talked about stuff the average listener wouldn't even know about for a while now. Should we start?
Speaking of Johnny Monoxide, the Great Wall of Texas, also known as Rock Wall, is a giant wall. It's made out of mica.
To be fair, Biarki, that comment you could equally swap out for Fortean words. He says, Johnny Monoxide is a complete poser. In no way have they ever covered any subject coherently in any way whatsoever.
He's just talking about us, isn't he?
Just that. Where's the Fred West? I've lost the Fred West comment. That was brilliant. That was. Fred West one is my favourite.
Oh, you know what we should do, seeing as it's been current affairs? We should do an episode about Jeffrey Dahmer, everybody's favourite homosexual.
Well, we can do Jeffrey Dahmer. We haven't done true crime in ages.
Oh, we definitely need to do a Pink News special on Jeffrey Dahmer.
It's all right. Biaki's given us a point for trying. He said, "You guys try at least."
So there's now a nuclear reactor site in Oklo in Gabon Republic.
Yeah, 1.8 billion megawatt or something. What is that?
In 1972, a French factory imported uranium ore from Oklo in Africa's Gabon. The uranium had already been extracted. They found the site of origin had apparently functioned as a large-scale nuclear reactor that came into being 1.8 billion years ago.
So what are they saying? It happened geologically. It geologically became a nuclear site.
It's a naturally forming nuclear reactor, bro. The uranium just refined itself using sodium hexafluoride gas, and then it was like a naturally forming rock formation centrifuge.
I've got the explanation. For uranium to burn in a reaction, very precise conditions are needed.
Which has occurred from naturally occurring rock formations.
Yeah. So what would have happened? Surely there should have been like a runaway thermal explosion or something, shouldn't there?
Well, it carried on for like 500,000 years. This thing. The material, the water must be extremely pure for one, much purer than exists naturally. The material. I
misquoted that guy. Glenn T. Seaborg, former head of the United States Atomic Energy Commission and Nobel Prize winner for his work in the synthesis of heavy elements, explained why he believes it wasn't a natural phenomenon, and thus must be a man-made nuclear reactor for uranium to burn in a reaction. Very precise conditions are needed.
Well, got Dr. Glenn T. Seaborg, who's got a doctorate.
You should always take someone seriously when they have T as their middle initial. James Tiberius Kirk. What's his name in Die Hard? He had a T in the middle of his name, didn't he? Dwayne.
Well, Dr. Seaborg, with your doctorate in nuclear physics, you're not as clever as a dribbling archaeologist who will tell you that's a naturally occurring rock formation. So yeah. Moving on, we debunked it. It's naturally occurring rock formation. I don't really want to do the period reason.
235 then, Hobbit?
So, right, naturally occurring uranium, most of it is the isotope uranium-238.
Yeah.
The one you want for nuclear fission is uranium-235, which I think occurs in 0.35% of all uranium. So what you've got to do is a centrifuge. The uranium-238 is heavier than the 235. So if you keep doing it, eventually you can get what's called enriched uranium, where the amount of 235 is enriched.
Yeah.
And then when you centrifuge that, you can get... The more you spin it, the more you can extract purer and purer stuff from it. I don't want to do the seafaring map, the Pyrrhus map, because I think we've covered Antarctica and stuff like that before.
Yeah, because I think we literally looked at that map recently, didn't we?
Now, here's the thing I've actually seen on television: the 2,000-year-old earthquake detector. Have you seen this vase before? It's quite clever, and it does work.
Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about this jar?
Number 12.
Oh, yeah. Number 12,
yeah. A replica of an ancient Chinese seismoscope from the Eastern Han Dynasty, which was somewhere between 25 to 220 Anno Domini, or Christ's era for modern listeners.
Is it like License to Drive? Have you ever seen License to Drive with Corby Haim and Corey Feldman?
No.
Where basically what it is he goes through his driving test and he says, right, we've got one thing. There's my cup of coffee. It's on the dashboard. You
I have seen that. I have. Yeah. I that was like the only bit I remember. It's just like, wow, I wish my driving test was like that. So, in 132 AD, Zhang Heng created the world's first seismoscope. How exactly it remains a mystery. No, it's not a mystery, right? There's a pendulum inside, and if the pendulum swings, it's got levers on each side of the dragon's tail.
You spill my coffee, you fail. that's how it works, isn't it, Albert?
Literally, what happens is that the pendulum swings, and if it swings towards one of the dragon opens its jaw and it drops a marble into the upturned frogs. So someone will be like, if there's been enough of an earthquake to cause the thing to tremble, it will ting, and then you'll be like, oh man, the earthquake sensor's gone off. All right, well, prepare for an earthquake then. In 138 AD, it correctly indicated an earthquake occurred about 300 miles west of Luoyang, the capital city. No one had felt the quake in Luoyang and dismissed the warning until a messenger arrived days later requesting aid. So yeah, it's a seismograph. And this is the interesting. We've covered this before.
Yeah.
The 150,000-year-old pipes. Baigang Cave, which is a naturally occurring rock formation, is definitely not a pyramid. The photo of a pipe in the bottom left, which is a naturally occurring iron pipe, naturally occurring rock formation again. Yeah. Caves near Mount Baigang in China contain pipes leading to a nearby lake.
There's something very wrong with China. Do we need to do a China special? So, three-headed children, two-headed goats, naturally occurring copper pipes. There's something very fucking weird going on in China, isn't there?
Speaking of ancient technology, Iron Duke is streaming. Oh, North FC stands for Naturally Occurring Rock Formations FC. Yeah, I like that. So they were dated by the Beijing Institute of Geology to be about 150,000 years old, according to Brian Dunning of Skeptoid.com.
Brian
Dunning?
By the way, not the other Brian, the famous scientist.
Brian Dunning has still not responded to my request.
Was that Brian Dunning you asked about the gradient?
Yeah, why were in the mid-19th century, when cars weren't invented until 1882 by, was it Daimler-Benz, why were they regrading things when cars didn't exist yet? Why? Could you tell me a bit more about why they decided also all around the world, including Perth in Australia, as well as Santiago in Chile, New York and Seattle and London in England, everyone decided, yeah, we're just going to regrade all our cities and just bury them, we all agreed it was a good idea, and we all decided to do it at the same time because there was international coordination of that stuff and cooperation. Yeah. Anyway, state-run media Xinhua reported the pipes were analysed at a local smeltery, and 8% of the material cannot be identified. It's one of those American ones, metallurgists or whatever, but 8% of the material cannot be identified. Yeah, so it's an unknown alloy. And that's the other thing, it's more accurate than radiocarbon dating. I forget the term specifically for it, but when you start melting...
Just analysed at a local smeltery just makes me think they took it down to their local forge and they said, what's that? And he goes, well, that's I pretty much know what that is, but I don't know what that is. It's
like, you know how here we'll have a dairy which processes milk into cheese and cream. Yeah. In America, they refer to those as creameries, which these words sound English, but they're not really.
Yeah.
Zhen Zhengdong, a geology research fellow from the China Earthquake Administration, told state-run newspaper People's Day in 2007 that some of the pipes were found to be highly radioactive. Jiang Dong said the iron-rich magma may have risen from deep in the earth.
So they know using these pipes in Flint, Michigan, huh?
What Jiang Dong is saying is that these are naturally occurring magma deposits. Okay. So he says the magma may have risen deep in the earth, bringing the iron into fissures where they may have solidified into tubes, though he admitted, there is indeed something mysterious about these pipes. He then cited the radioactivity and example of the strange qualities of the pipes. These pipes are anywhere from half an inch in diameter.
Yeah.
With an internal diameter of smaller than that. So some of them are 2 foot wide. And there's thousands of them. And
if they're not uniform, that would kind of lead you to believe that they're not man-made.
But mate, I could go into a Juicens and find you a bunch of different PVC and copper tubes, and you're going to say it's a naturally occurring PVC formation. Yeah. The tubes.
I'm going to take it to an archaeologist and go, look, say this is naturally occurring, and they'll go, yeah, it is, and they'll write me a report on it, and there you go. Yeah. If you give them if you give an academic enough money, they'll just say any old shit for you.
Oh, they really are fucking whores, aren't they? I mean, so some of the I've read about these before. Iron. I'm not sure if you ever dealt with iron or steel before, but one of the things about it is it will rust. As I found with my Jag, one of the wing brackets is made out of steel, which is a really good idea because it's right behind the wheel arch where you get all the road grit. And as a consequence, it's completely disintegrated. So it's like, that's a great idea to put some mild steel there, which just completely rots away. Good going, guys. I've actually made a bodge using garden twine, which does the job perfectly, so it's fine. But my point about that being is iron, as we know it, rusts. These pipes are 150,000 years old, and there's not a spot of rust on them. How the fuck does that work? And number 10, and number 10, the Antikythera mechanism. It's a 2,000-year-old mechanical analog computer used to calculate the positions of the sun, moon, planets, and even the dates of the ancient Olympic Games.
Wikimedia Commons. What the fucking hell does that mean?
Oh, it's some sort of holding company for Wikipedia's images and stuff. Fun thing as well, there's a picture of, there's a video on the Wikimedia Commons of a hands-free orgasm, because like there's an article on ejaculation, and it's just like, okay, right, so it's a guy just like coming, great. Thank you, Wikimedia Commons. That's really neat. I'm sure glad we got multimedia. Oh God, can you just imagine telling people when they got like their Encarta 95 CDs is just you wait. Couple of years from now, there'll be a thing called the internet, and when you look up the encyclopedia article for ejaculation, you'll get to see a man coming hands-free.
I know hands.
Yeah, look, Mum, I'm researching on the internet, on Wikipedia. Oh, well, that's a family-friendly website.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's just a man's erect penis.
It's the sort of thing that, what's his face? The one that looked up tentacle porn. What's his name? He was a fun guy, wasn't he? Do you remember that guy? That Jewish geezer, what was his fucking name? I can't remember.
Sigmund Freud. Yeah. Now, this mechanism, if it hadn't been discovered, nobody would possibly believe that it could exist because it's so sophisticated, said mathematician Tony Freeth in a Nova documentary. Matthias Buttet, a director of research and development for watchmaker Hublot, said in a video released by the Hellenic Republic Ministry of Culture and Tourism, this Antikythera mechanism includes ingenious features which are not found in modern watchmaking.
Kurt Eichenwald. Do you remember Kurt Eichenwald? We shouldn't ever forget Kurt Eichenwald. You remember him?
Oh, well, you see, the reason I had tentacle rape pornography on things because my family didn't believe it was real. So I said, hey, family, let's go look at tentacle rape pornography on the computer. Kurt Eichenwald.
Okay, let me just quote him here because I wouldn't want to misquote him.
No, you need to give him the context. Okay. It's not fair to...
Go on. Do the context, and then I'll do the
The context is key. Like Brutus in Marriage, which will be on my good friend Fremel on the Sands show. If you type Brutus in Marriage, you get the full thing in context because it's cruel to take Brutus out of context. Anyway, carry on.
He said, "Okay, I'm a dumbass. Believe it or not, I can't do the voice. Believe it or not, my kids and I were trying to convince my wife that tentacle porn existed. Him and the kids. So he'd already discussed it with the kids. Right, kids? We need to convince Mum that tentacle porn absolutely exists. So he's already had this conversation."
Is it like a family viewing night where they just watch pornography together?
Well, it's not the total family, because obviously Mrs. Eichenwald is completely in the dark over it. But obviously, she needs to know what tentacle porn is. So he says, I tried to find some to show her it was real, but I couldn't find any. I ended up with this. My family reads my Twitter feeds. They know this is true. And Kurt Eichenwald, because he's a journalist, would not do a lie.
No, he wouldn't. The journalists are required by law to tell the truth.
Yes.
But as Interdimensional Lizard said, this is all a distraction from the time Jerry Nadler shit himself.
Well, Jerry Nadler was distracted from that fact that Kurt Eichenwald was looking at technical porn.
I mean, like the time that Kurt Eichenwald invited Jerry Nadler over for like a pornography viewing night, but then Jerry Nadler made up an excuse saying, "Oh, I've actually got a matter of national security to attend to," which meant he had to change his pants because he shit in them again.
Anyway, back to the clock.
Yes, the anterior mechanism. We've done that bit now. So, drill bit in coal. John Buchanan, Esquire. Who is an Esquire?
Why is that? Talk about the anti. Are we done with the Antikythera?
That was it. It's an incredible piece of technology. It can't be debunked. It's not a naturally occurring rock formation.
It looks like a lot of people have mocked up real ones from it, haven't they?
Well, one of the things they've done is they've done X-ray photography of it, and from that they've been able to replicate the mechanism.
Yeah,
because it's all fused together, the original one.
Yeah.
And that way people can see, and that's the other thing as well. Like they're saying, oh yeah, it was just Egyptian slaves with copper chisels chiseling out bits of brass, but the precision in those mechanical teeth, it wasn't done by hand. I mean, if you talk with a watchmaker, and believe it or not, I actually have spoken with a watchmaker, and I said, would you, because I was talking about the anterior mechanism, I said, would you ever carve them by hand? He said, no, it's not, you don't carve teeth out of hand. You use, I forget the tool that you use, but you put the cog on an axle, a lathe or something, and you have like a CNC machine to do it. But there was a way to do it before that, where you turn it on the lathe and you precisely turn it at like a set increment each time so that you'd have evenly spaced teeth. So just it wasn't done by hand. Oh God. Look, some watchmaker autists will know what the mechanism's called, where you put like a brass wheel on the lathe, and then you start cutting teeth into it to turn it into a cog. But yeah, drill bit in coal. John Buchanan, Esquire. No idea to this day what an Esquire is, or why people have that on their name. Mysterious object to a meeting of the Society of Antiquaries of Scotland on the 13th of December 1852. Fuck you, American journalists. I'm not going to use your month, day, year format. A drill bit had been found encapsulated in coal about 22 inches thick.
A man or boy who is a member of the gentry in England, ranking directly below a knight. Or 2, used as an honorific, usually in its abbreviated form, especially after the name of an attorney or a consular officer. Or 3, a barrister at law. So he's some sort of lawyer or something.
Yeah. Oh, Alphabet Cat wants us to do an excerpt about the cowpox and the milkmaid story about how serums were developed. Yeah. That's why we get the story of that, because the Latin for cow is vacus, where that's why the French refer to a cow as a vache.
Is that why we call it a vaccine?
I didn't want to use the term because now we're going to have a warning saying like Wikipedia says this about things. Because you remember when we did the episode about the other topic, which is of some controversy, and then you have it's almost like the cigarette disclaimers. Like you mentioned certain topics, and like fact checkers say that archaeologists are in fact very smart. Some of them have IQs as high as 102.
As high as 59.
Wow. The name Italy comes from cow or veal. Vitello, Italy. Really?
You know why Italy's shaped like a boot, don't you, Hobbit?
It's because
you can't fit all
they're
that
fascist.
shit in a shoe.
So anyway, drill bit. It's found about buried in a bed of clay mixed with bile, was about 7 feet thick, and it was about 22 inches thick. This thing. The Earth's core was said to have formed hundreds of millions of billions of zillions of years ago. The society decided that the instrument was of a modern level of advancement, but it concluded that the iron instrument might have been part of a borer broken during some form of search for coal.
There you go. Sorted.
Buchanan's detailed report did not include any signs of the coal surrounding it.
Don't read that bit out.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Moving on.
Buchanan's detailed report did not include any signs that the coal surrounding the instrument had been punctured by drilling, but we shouldn't have read that bit out.
To use a 4chan idiom, I see you using the Jewish tricks of facts and evidence to back up your argument.
What do you think to these cricket balls then, Hubbard?
Yeah, the Klerksdorp spheres. Well, that's just a naturally occurring rock formation, as we'll find out.
Yeah.
Spheres with fine grooves around them, which, when I first saw these spheres with fine grooves in them, is about 2005, and this is brilliant. Boomer website.
We're going to mention somebody that Bjarke mentioned earlier.
What? Richard Hoagland?
No, Michael Cremo.
Oh, yeah. Right, okay. Well, anyway, I first saw these on enterprisemission.net, which hopefully still exists, because there is a massive essay there about Aeptus and how it looks like the Death Star, except how did George Lucas do this thing for the Death Star many years before Aeptus was ever photographed and seen back on Earth? And also look at these Klerksdorp spheres, what look like Aeptus.
Well, speaking of something similar, I remember, I can't remember who was talking about it, but a podcast I listened to, they were talking about Steven Spielberg and his Alien films, because apparently the CIA went to both E.T. and Close Encounters, and apparently a CIA guy was overheard saying, like, you don't know how realistic that is, talking about Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
So these spheres, the globes which have they were found in mines in South Africa. Naturally formed masses of mineral matter. There we go. Now, the globes which have a fibrous structure on the inside with a shell around it are very hard and cannot be scratched even by steel, said Ulf Marx, curator of the Museum of Klerksdorp, South Africa, according to Michael Cremer's book, Forbidden Archaeology, The Hidden History of the Human Race. Marx said the spheres are around 2.8 billion years old, and he's basing that on the rocks they're found in. If they are mineral masses, it's unclear exactly formed, but clearly they are naturally occurring rock formations. And now we're on to the Iron Pillar of Delhi, which I've posted a few weeks ago, or a few months.
We mentioned this before on the show, haven't we?
It's a giant pillar, and it's a form of iron which doesn't rust, and it's tapering, so it's smaller at the top than the bottom. And it's got some hello sir, hello beautiful, sexy long time squiggles on it. The Viking sword Ulfbert, which is quite interesting.
You know about that? I don't know about this one.
The Ulfbert swords, they're not sure if it was like a name or a brand, because there's more than one sword with the name Ulfbert on it, and they're really good swords of the time. So like the Ferrari or something like that. Well, I was going to say it's like the Ferrari of swords. When archaeologists found the Viking sword Ulfbert dating from 800 to 100 AD, or for the Viking La Pagans, that's 800 to 1000 CE, which means Christ's era. Yeah. You're welcome. He died for your sins.
Christian era.
Yeah. He died for your sins. They were stunned. They couldn't see how the technology to make such a sword was available until the Industrial Revolution.
See, this is what annoys me about Bjarke. He talks about all this stuff we don't know about and then refuses to come on the show.
Oh, well, because he's an archaeologist, and we archaeologists respect us here. Its carbon content is 3 times higher than other swords of its time, and impurities are removed to such a degree that the iron ore must have been heated to at least 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which I have no idea what that is. That's old money. So that's what, 180 degrees Celsius. With a great effort and precision, modern blacksmith Richard Furrer of Wisconsin forged a sword of ultimate quality using technology that would have been available in the Middle Ages. He said it was the most complicated thing he'd ever made, and he'd used methods not known to have been used by people of that time.
I don't know. I mean, this could easily be knowledge that was lost. They could have done this back then because they were doing nothing but making swords. So surely it would have got pretty good.
Well, yeah, but what they're talking about there is a different type. I think what they mean to say is crucible steel, where you put your iron ore inside this crucible and you have like this coke around it. Because if you use coal, it's going to put impurities with it, and charcoal as well. It's not as good as coke. So yeah, that's a tricky fucking thing to do.
Coke of it.
Well, that's the thing. I asked my my cousin, because I said, "Why have you got a bag of coke?" And he says he uses it for blacksmithing. I said, "Well, why don't you use the charcoal?" And he says, "Not as good. If you want to do proper blacksmithing, you want coke." 5, 100-million-year-old hammer.
100 million years old.
It was found in London, which is in Texas, in 1934, encased in stone that formed around it. The rocks around the hammer is said to be more than 100 million years old.
100 million years old. You got to do it in the Dr. Evil voice of it.
Million. A million-year-old bridge. That could be interesting. Adam's Bridge, also known as Rama's Bridge.
We could always go into a second episode on this Hobbit, so we don't need to rush it, do we?
Oh God, we've got 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
What about the 500,000-year-old spark plug?
Go on then, let's go for the 500,000. Are we going to finish off with the 500,000?
Yeah, I think we'll do that. Go on.
In 19...
Oh, I just think it's interesting. You know, it'll go with the Baghdad battery just for decorative purposes. In 1961, 3 people out searching for geodes for their German gift shop in Alancha, California.
Don't forget that Kathleen Kennedy brought us the excellent character of Geode in the was it the old Republic? What was it called? That fucking Knights of the Old Republic or whatever shit she made. Geode was a rock, literal rock that flew a spaceship called Spaceship.
Oh, okay. In 1960, yeah. So for the geodes for their shop. So Virginia Maxey, one of the 3 discoverers, said at the time that geologists examined the... Oh, I'm going to burp now. So geologists examined the fossils around the device, and the device was dated. Is Joe Biden write this?
The High Republic.
Anyway.
That was it. Yeah, because people called it the Let's Get High Republic.
The spark plug was found in a geode at least 500,000 years old. The geologist was never named, and the current whereabouts of the artifact are unknown, so it's been taken by the Smithsonian. Critics of the claim, Pierre
we've got to do a second, because I want to talk about that find that we want to dab on the Smithsonian, don't we? Maybe we should do an episode on the Smithsonian.
God, we haven't like shit nearly enough on the Smithsonian and their bunch of I was going to use the R word.
So there you go. There's Geode, the pilot, with a strong woman of colour and the spaceship called Ship, or whatever it's called.
I can smell the KFC and marijuana from here. Now, Pierre Stromberg and Paul Heinrich only have X-rays and an artist sketch of the artifact to analyse. They think it was a modern spark plug encased in quick form and concretion rather than the geode. But Stromberg and Heinrich have said there is no hard evidence that the original discoverers intended to deceive anyone. A prehistoric wall near Bahamas?
Here was an actual panel from. Here was an actual excerpt from an actual book. But all conversation came to an end as Leox and Affy stopped their group at the edge of the cockpit. And this here, Leox said with a grin, is our ship's navigator, Geode. Standing in one corner of the cockpit was
Hello, my name's Geode, and I call my ship Rock.
About as tall and slightly wider than Reith himself, dark grey with rounded edges and a flinty, flaky surface. Impressive as rocks went.
Oh, that's typecasting. Calling a rock flinty.
And Geode is the navigator of a starship called the Vessel. Let's not. There's a lot of things that we need to not forget in this episode, and Geode is one of them.
I would like to give a shout out to someone on my Twitter timeline who's changed their name back from premature ejaculation makes girls feel pretty, saying Rick and Morty is a show for dumb people who think they're smart.
Yeah, Dunning-Kruger. Still funny though.
Well, the first showed it to my cousin, he was like, "Oh God, he's disgusting. Why is he burping all the time?" It seems my post about the broccoli hairdo has garnered some attention.
That's it.
Yeah, they were elves once, taken by the dark powers, tortured and mutilated, a ruined and terrible form of life. The broccoli hairdo is disgusting, and any kid that gets it done needs a proper slap.
Okay, right. Are we done, Hobbit?
Yeah. There's a wall in the Bahamas. How was it done? Naturally occurring rock formation. Simple as.
We'll do a part 2 on this one because we managed to thumb in a real softie that time, didn't we, Hobbit?
Really, Smithsonian can eat shit. It really can. Fuck you, Smithsonian.
Bjarki, stop being gay and come on the show.
Hey, he's Australian. They have a right to be gay.
Okay. Night all. Say good night, Hobbit.
Oh, good night, Hobbit.
Stay spooky.